look at this benefits realization, it's going to be a joint effort or a collaboration at the highest level in the enterprise.
Now, one of the things you mentioned was delayed benefits realization.
Yes.
This sounded like almost like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission for what happens in IT. Can you tell me a little bit about that as a way of moving forward?
Yes. Benefits realization is really, making the circle of investment management or portfolio management or value management. It's making that circle complete. All right. If we don't have a circle or a cycle, then there's going to be chaos. So at the end of major investments, there should be a review if you had received the benefits from those investments. So part of that benefits realization is basically enforcing the business case for major projects and major programs and taking money or promises out of the budget in future years, or basically forcing some leaders to reach new goals for revenue. Okay, so delayed benefits realization is really, it's a fancy name for optimization. We collect all the benefits at once based on a global recession or a merger. Because we collect them a little bit all along the way, it reduces the effectiveness of the enterprise. So it's really, we're just taking what was promised in the business case of the various investments over 5 or 10 years.
And part of that goes back to that transparency theme, though. It's the CIO taking this forward. Isn't it a pretty courageous move to be talking about whether we got the benefits or not from IT?
Well, you know what it is? It's not just the CIO that's involved with this, and you get the benefits from the change projects, and any sort of change project is going to be the business is going to be the sponsor, and maybe IT is the sponsor some of the time, or there's a partnership for ownership. So what it is that we look at this benefits realization. It's going to be a joint effort or a collaboration at the highest level in the enterprise to determine, what benefits were received, who received, and what we have to do to get those benefits from previous investments.
You mentioned OT versus IT. What was that about?
Yes, well, there are two sides. There's a lot of different types of technology. And we talk about the information technology, information to make decisions, information for regulatory reasons. And then we have the operational side, where we have the I and O inside the machines, inside the appliances, inside the gears of an enterprise that is physical in nature or asset-based in nature. So there are two different types of technology. And a lot of the time, we're going to separate the information technology from the operational. Now with digital business, we're going to start to see this collision between the two, where it's not going to be a separate silo for these. We're going to have to combine a lot of these things together, the OT and the IT, to realize this digital business. All right? So traditionally, we've separated these things out. Utility companies, manufacturing, anything with a microchip or a computer chip doesn't make it information technology, it makes it technology. So more and more enterprises are going to split this apart if it's together, or they're going to bring it together depending on what their goals are for digital business.
And how does that change how IT is measured? How does that change the metrics we use?
Well, I think what it is that we're going to have different metrics based on the portfolio name or the portfolio taxonomy. All right. So for operational technology, that's going to be closer to the business, closer to the outcomes of the enterprise, closer to the customer or the ecosystem. So there you're going to see a lot of, let's say, metrics related to profitability and revenue generation. All right. So they made this decision 500 years ago. There are two types of costs. So we have the operational expenses, and then we have the what would you call them, the back office expenses or the overhead expenses. More and more with digital business, this operational side is going to be combined with the overhead side of the business. So we're going to have a new category possibly of expenses.
Does that free us up to get more money for innovation?
Yes. Well, I think that's the goal. This whole balance as we go forward is that because we are not growing at 10, 15, 20% a year, most enterprises aren't at least, everybody's pretty flat. It could be 5 or 10% if you're lucky for a standard mature enterprise. It's going to be, you're going to have to generate a lot more revenue to get the money and the cash flow to invest in great new things. So either you have to expand revenue a lot, or you're going to have to cut costs a lot, and that could be in IT or in the business. So we have to free up the cash flow so we can invest in the future.